Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? All right, so back here live for the evening. So what we're going to do today is I have a class actually I prepared for today for you guys. So I'm just going to go right into it. So basically, it's like, are you too busy to focus on fitness? And the reason I say this is because um, I know that a lot of people have very busy lifestyles. We have family, we have kids, we have our job, we have our wife, we have friends, outings, we have business trips and travels that comes into our life, school, and a lot of this can be overwhelming where it comes down to fitness. It's like I don't have time to do it, And sometimes we feel that when we see other people like myself. Like if you're watching me, you're like, well, you're a fitness coach. You're supposed to be fit. I would be very surprised if you weren't fit. You have time to work out. And the reality is this: I'm just as busy as everyone else. You know what I'm saying? I'm just as busy. The only difference is that I prioritize fitness. Okay. And this is something I've always done. It's not that because I became a fitness coach, like like I need to be fit. Like I was training and working out since I was in high school, and I never like stop working out. I always continue to do it. I'm not these fitness guys who used to be overweight and then had an epiphany one day, got in shape, and then decided to start training people. I'm not these guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would. I have pictures, and I show pictures of me being a little overweight, but that was like when I was in the Navy, and I was just at a bad place, and just ended up. I just started putting on body fat, and then like I decided to really, take better care of myself. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of fell off. You know what I mean? I was just eating way too many calories than what I was burning because I was getting older and I was getting myself more involved in things I shouldn't be getting involved in, like eating late at night, drinking more alcohol, like things like that. But it wasn't these things where I just was inactive. I put on a bunch of body fat. I was suffering. I had a lot. I don't have like a true painful story of being overweight where I'm like, yeah, I tried everything and then I decided, and then I figured out this magic mechanism like intermittent fasting, and I lost all the weight. That's not my story, man. Like my story, y'all probably heard it a million times. Why I went vegan. Yeah, I improved. I lost body fat. I got ripped. Made life a lot easier. But when it comes to working out and just and I'll see once I learned how to be a coach, like and a trainer and stuff, I mean, I had a better understanding. But just like working out and eating healthy, like it was always something I always knew. I was a big fan in reading like health and fitness magazines, like Men's Health, and I was always into like taking care of myself and looking good and those type of things. And I was always busy. Like I was in the military. I think the only time I didn't work out was when I went to war. Like I had way better things weren't on my mind than being in shape. I was just like, I just want to survive. And I was just living off of MREs anyways. So that's one thing. Another time was when I was in the Navy. So the picture that y'all see, what happened when I gained all that weight was because I went to they call it MOS school, where I tried to learn how to do my job in the Navy. And it was just so damn cold, man. And I know it's a lame excuse, but you don't even understand. I'm from Florida. I'm from Florida. I had some cold weather training and stuff like that in the military, but man, I was in St. Louis. I was in St. Louis, Missouri. I never felt any cold, in my life like that. Like it was like -10, -15 degrees, and it was just way too cold to go to the gym. Like because the gym when you're on base, and you're in a student status, you don't have cars. There was no Uber back then. You know what I'm saying? So you had to walk to the gym. And it was just like, it got to a point. I was training, going to the gym and stuff, but it just got to a point in the middle of the whole school environment where it was just getting so damn cold, and I had to put on all these warming layers. And again, I'm from Florida, man. I'm not used to putting on long johns, like jeans, and then you had an overall like coat. And like I had to put all this stuff on, and I just got lazy. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, this is too much just to go to the gym. And I remember one time it was so cold, my bones were hurting, man, when I walked outside. And that's when I kind of stopped and I said, like, I'm not going back to the gym until like I get back to Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what happened. Once I got back from Florida, I put on some weight. That's some of the pictures that y'all see. But again, I had a lot of bad lifestyle habits. I was always going to the gym 5 days out of the week. It was just my diet was shit. That's what it was. And I was only getting older, and my activity levels was getting lower too, because when I was in the Marine Corps fully active, I had a very active lifestyle. I was training 2 times a day. I had like majority of the time, like 3-4 times out of the week, I was training twice a day because it's mandatory to train with your unit 3 times out of the week. And then out of that, the 5 other days, Monday to Friday, I would hit the gym. So I would go either early in the morning before Reveille, before we had to wake, before everyone else wakes up, when you had to get ready to work, or in the evening. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it was. So my lifestyle was very active and my diet was still shit, you know, but the only difference was I was younger. And I mean, for someone who's working out twice a week and being fully active in the Marine Corps, I was those guys. I was burning more calories than I was eating, and I was out, I was what I'm trying to say. I was what did I say before? Like you can't outwork a bad diet. Well, that particular time I was outworking a bad diet. And there's a few people that can do that, like someone who's training twice a week and have a very active lifestyle, or high performance athletes, like pretty much like soccer players, you know, like pro soccer players can outbeat a bad diet because they're running all day long if they're pro. Maybe swimmers could do so as well, because swimming takes a lot of energy. There's certain sports out there that some people can get away with it, but eventually it starts catching up, because as you get older, you start gaining more responsibilities. You stop not putting so much emphasis in training. It starts coming down a bit. And just that little couple of notches, that's what happened to me. Like it went from 2 times a day, having an active full-time job, to, you know, and here's the reality. I don't really say this a lot, but my first job out of the military was a security guard. I was a security guard at a mall, you know, and guess what movie came out? The Mall Cop movie came out when I got out. So imagine me, people call me Mall Cop, you know, laughing at me, you know, and I'm literally driving the freaking Segways, you know, up and down the Sawgrass Mills Mall. I mean, that was my first job, from combat veteran, hero, Marine Corps killer, to a mall cop riding around on a Segway, kids laughing at me. It's a big, you know, you want to talk about embarrassment, is a big pill to swallow, trust me. But but with that said, I had, like, because my lifestyle was not as active, especially if I'm not walking around the mall, I'm riding the Segway, what happens? I'm still eating the same way, right? Still eating shit, still drinking, but slowly and surely the weight started to pack on. And guess what? In my mind, I'm like, I'm bulking. I was like this guy, like, I'm bulking. I'm just putting on, yeah, this is good weight. And that's when I got from, like, I think I was like maybe like 170, something like that, and got all the way up to 225 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And this is without the knowledge of nutrition and proper fitness protocols. That's what happened, you know? So make a long story short, once I started learning everything, then I was able to apply that stuff and make it fit my lifestyle and really fix on the nutrition and make it work. Okay. And my life only got busier, because once I finished doing that security stuff, I went straight in from that to opening up my toy business in the mall, which people in the mall was very impressed, like especially the managers and security guards. They were like, damn, like you literally worked for security for like a year and a half, and now you're opening your own business. I was like, yeah, because I know what I'm doing with my money. I'm not, I mean, I was going out and partying, but I wasn't blowing everything on that. You know what I'm saying? I was saving and putting things in the back burner so I could do something. So, and that's a whole nother story, because I was like saving, and then I took like 20K that I saved up, and I was like, all right, let's open up a business. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I kind of got into the whole entrepreneurship, to make a long story short. And and again, my work hours only got busier, because I went from a 40-hour work week to an 80-hour work week, because I will work literally at the mall 7 days out of the week, from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to think about how to do deposits. I have to do crunch numbers at the end of the day. I had a lot of stuff I had to do. Okay. But guess what? I still have fitness as a priority. Guess what I did? I just woke up early. You know what I mean? And then fast forward, then I became a fitness trainer, applied to nutrition, applied everything, still opened up another business. And only difference now is that I have better knowledge. So I'm able to have a better physique and really, take things to another level with my health and wellness. Okay. So the reality is that just because I'm a coach and a trainer doesn't mean that I'm only fit because I'm a coach, because there's a lot of trainers out there who's overweight, not fit, and they're in the fitness industry. Okay. So, what's their excuse? You know what I mean? And you work in the gym, you know what I'm saying? Like, the equipment is right there. You work there. Like, what are you doing on your off time? What are you doing when, with the meals? Like, are you just eating whatever you want and just working in the gym? Like, what's going on? Because you have salad bars, you have all the healthiest foods right there in most gyms. What are you doing? You know what I mean? So my point is, in starting this class, is that I wanted to show y'all some tips, right? When it comes to having a busy lifestyle and be able to incorporate like healthy food choices, because again, food plays 80%. Okay. It plays 80%. So what I'm going to show y'all here is, let me see. Yeah. What I'm going to show y'all here is a class that I made up. So it's called How to Meal Prep While Traveling, right? And the reason I say this is because, like, again, the food plays 80% when it comes all down to this. Now, right now it says every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. Okay. And the thing is that this quote is very true, because every day we wake up and you decide if you want to improve your life, if you're going to do things that's going to improve your lifestyle, or you're going to do things that's not going to improve your lifestyle. You have a choice every single day. So every time, you have that choice, like, should I eat junk, or should I eat a little bit healthier? Should I work with a coach, or shouldn't I work with a coach? Should I focus on, trying to work out today, or shouldn't I work out today? You have a choice. You can't blame life when life throws you lemon. You can't blame it on life why you're unfit, not healthy, can't eat right. You created your own demise. That's what I always tell people. You created your own demise. So you can't blame your kids, can't blame your family. You can't be pointing fingers at anything, because you created it. When I hear people on a phone call tell me, like, you don't understand, like, I have all these kids. I'm like, you're the one that impregnate your girl. So what are you going to do? Blame your child why you're fat and unhealthy, and why you can't live on this earth for a long time because you have diabetes and high cholesterol? So you're going to blame it on them? Come on, man. Yeah, you have to take responsibility, be a parent, take care of yourself so you can take care of your kids and lead by example. Okay. That's what you got to do. If you have a busy lifestyle, you have to make time. You created that demise. You know what I'm saying? You created it. So if you're going to school, or you have a very busy work schedule, you created that. No one forced you to do all that stuff. So you can't blame your job when you're unhealthy and you can't get to work because you're always getting sick. You can't blame them, but that's what we like to do, right? We like to blame things and not take any type of responsibilities. But the thing is when it comes to health and fitness, one of the benefits is when you start taking care of yourself and start making the better actions, you start being more accountable of your own actions, and you stop blaming other people and life because it's tough. Okay. You stop blaming and you just take charge, you own up to it, and you figure a way how to do it. That's it. Simple as that. That's why fitness is such a big thing. Health and fitness is such a big thing. Because when you start taking that accountability and taking the proper actions to make yourself right, you start seeing that plays a big role in everything else in your life. Okay. So that's why this is a good quote. So what I want to do is go ahead and talk about a little bit more about meal prepping, why that is important, what to avoid when traveling, right? To break those nasty routines and habits, the best foods and snacks to prep while traveling, hacks to be successful, and then we'll go right into Q&A. And I'm going to kind of go through this pretty fast too. Because I'm getting a little tired too. I won't be honest with y'all, but I'll be here for Q&A, answer as many questions that I can, and I'll make this class very informative for you guys, so it's beneficial, and y'all can apply this to your life. But why meal prepping is important? Number one is because it prevents you from going over or under your target caloric and macronutrient goals. So the first thing you need to do if you're trying to lose body fat, you need to understand how many calories should you be consuming to lose body fat. If you're trying to maintain or build muscle, you need to know how much calories you should be eating for that. Okay. If you're kind of just going through life eating whatever you want, or just kind of guessing or trying to simplify everything, guess what? I always say random actions get random results. So if you're eating healthy and you still got that gut underneath your shirt, then obviously just eating healthy isn't cutting it. You have to be in a calorie deficit while you're eating healthy. All right. If you're trying to build muscle and you're eating all this food and you see that you're only gaining body fat, it's because you're not tracking your foods and you don't know how many calories you should be consuming. Okay. So you need to figure that out. Next is we never plan to fail. We just fail to plan ahead. Okay. That's another goal. That's another thing. You know, I have people sometimes who come to me and tell me that, oh, I just didn't have time to meal prep today because my life is so busy. No, you didn't have time to meal prep. You just never planned. You never planned ahead. That's it. You have bad time management. That's all it is. Your time management sucks. So when it comes to individuals like that, I always bring this example to them. I say, look, man, listen, you could say that to me all you want. I get it. I totally understand. We're all busy. But here's the reality, man. The reality is this. Your time management sucks. Oh, how does it suck? You don't understand my life. I do understand your life. You allow other people to control your life and your time. When you go to work, they have a schedule for you, right? Yeah. All right. They tell you when to come to work. They tell you when you have to get off work. You have to ask permission to go on vacation or take a day off or a rest day. You know what I'm saying? They tell you when you can eat your lunch or go on a lunch break. So you have someone else telling you how to live your life for 8 to 12 hours a day, but you can't even figure out 1 hour out of 1 day out of the week for an hour to just meal prep and know that you're going to have these events coming up, but you allow other people to control your life, right? Once I say something like that, people start understanding, like, I need to take charge of my life and my time. Okay. So that's something you want to think about. We never really plan to fail. No, you never wake up and say, I'm going to fail today and just mess up on everything that I'm going to do. No, you just fail to plan ahead. So one thing to do to prevent that is using Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar, right? I highly recommend using Google Calendar because if you have an Apple phone, a Samsung, whatever case can be, it can integrate with everybody's schedule and live your life through that calendar. If whatever that's going on in your life that's not in that calendar, it's not important. Okay. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, When I hang out with friends, or I'm going to a party or a meetup or whatever the case can be, it's in my calendar. If I'm going to have a phone call with somebody, it's in my calendar. I don't call people from random. And I hate when people try to call me from random, because my life is busy and I'm very schedulized. I'm very organized with my life. So when people are trying to call me and like, hey, let's just call. No, I'm not your fucking boyfriend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not your mom, man. Like, you need a schedule with me. Okay. I have a busy life. I got shit I need to do. I have things that I want to do too. I don't want to just be talking to you when I'm trying to rest and relax. And I even have that time for myself planned in my schedule. So you're not going to ruin my time when I'm on my rest and relaxation, or when I'm spending time with my family. All right. You make a schedule, you put it in the calendar, then we talk. And it might sound kind of like a dick when I say this, right? But in reality, when people start aligning to what you want, they start appreciating the attention that you give. Because if I put you in my calendar and let's say you want to have a talk, guess what? You have 100% of my attention. I'm not looking on my phone. I'm not like picking up a phone and say, oh, sorry, I have to go. This is an emergency. None of that shit. You have 100% of my attention, and people start appreciate you a lot better. Okay. Because they're like, man, he's really attentive when we talk. This person is really attentive when we go out to dinner or we hang out. It's like he's never on his phone. He's not distracted. He's like there. He's present. And I feel this day and age, a lot of people fail to have attention. Like I would go out to dinner and I see people on their phones, on their phones on Instagram scrolling, and they have people in front of them. It's one of the most rudest things, I think, and something that we lost when it comes to etiquette. You know what I'm saying? So, and us as a society, we're losing ourselves with these phones, and we're being very rude to a lot of people. So this is why I schedule, because I'm not these persons. I'm not one of these people. If I'm hanging out with you, I want your full attention. If I see you on your phone, I'm this type of person. Like if I'm hanging out with you and I'm talking to you and you pull out your phone and start scrolling, I stop talking. I just stop. I like dead stop. I'll be like, hey, what's up? And I just like stop and I just continue. And I just do whatever else, because what I see is when that person's on that phone, they're not paying attention to me. And here's the thing. Some people are so addictive. I'll stop talking and they're still saying, yeah. I was like, yeah, to what? I didn't say shit. I stopped talking about 5 minutes ago. What are you saying, yeah, for? You know, and I do that to show like, bro, you're rude as hell, man. You know, what are you doing? Like, I'm here to spend time with you, and freaking you're on your phone. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? It's one of the worst things I hate, dude. And I think some of y'all might agree, right? Then next thing is learn nutrient density of different food faster by eating the same meals. Okay. So what I mean is, like, first you want to figure out foods that's nutrient dense, right? And you want to learn different types of foods that are nutrient dense. Pretty much re-educate yourself when it comes to nutrient density, when it comes to foods that you're eating. All right. You really want to learn this. So, download MyFitnessPal, download, what is it called? Chronometer. Start paying attention to the nutrient density you're getting out of the food. When I say nutrient density, like vitamins and minerals, dietary fiber, start learning that stuff. And then after that, start creating some meals in your life that's fast, easy, and quick to make, like go-to meals. Okay. Because you have to kind of think, most of us, when we're busy, we usually just go on Uber Eats and buy something that's convenient, right? To save time. Now, out of Uber Eats, I know that no one's going around ordering from 20 to 30 different restaurants every single day. No one's doing that. Everyone has like a favorite restaurant, a favorite particular dish, maybe 2 or 3 particular dishes that you usually go to, and that's it. as human beings, we kind of like routine and just repeat it because it's quick and easy and simple. We don't have to spend too much time on thinking, right? And if you're someone who is really busy, then you don't have that much brain power to be making a lot of decisions. You want decision making to be very simplistic, right? So I always say if you have a couple of meals that you know is healthy, is going to help you get to your goals, then have a rotation of certain meals that's fast, easy to make, especially on those days that you're traveling, days that you're very busy, and then just follow that to the T and just do the same thing every day. So this is what I do. You know, like I have my lunch and my breakfast and lunch is pretty much the same meals every day. And truthfully, I eat the same meals every day for Monday through Friday because I am busy. I don't have time to make other decisions. All I do all day, I make decision. I do decision making. So the last thing I want to think about is making decisions on what I eat. I don't care. It's food is fuel for me. I'm getting my vitamins and minerals out of it. It's good enough. And then on the weekend is when I really have more diversity. Now, if I am getting bored of a certain food, it happens, then I might change out a few meals, or I might change out the whole meal together, right? I might, but I'll change it out and then follow that for the next couple of weeks. That's how I usually do it. But I'm not trying to figure out like, all right, Monday I'm eating tofu scramble. Tuesday I'm having a broken hamburger bowl. Wednesday I'm having protein pancakes. Thursday I'm having protein oats. Friday, if you have time to do all that shit, you're not busy. You just think you're busy, and you're not. You're spending more time in the kitchen cooking freaking food versus getting work done and making money. All right. And then the next thing is learn about portion control and food combinations for optimal results. So pretty much similar to this one right here, what I just said. All right. Now, before I move forward with this, I'm just going to go ahead and check if there's any questions so far with everything. So let me see. Yeah, people are just agreeing. Yeah. Okay. And let me see. That's on YouTube. Let me see anyone here on Instagram. Anyone? All right. Everyone's just watching. All right, cool. Perfect. So everyone's giving full attention today. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and continue with this. All right. Let's go ahead and continue. All right. Now, what you shouldn't do, right, when you're traveling, especially when you have a busy lifestyle. If you're traveling or going on a vacation and or you're just really busy, it's not a free pass to just eat what you want or take a pause in any type of fitness program or goals that you're trying to do. Okay. A lot of people make these mistakes. And when you make these mistakes, when you travel and going on vacation, they want to pause everything they're doing or take a break. And it's like health and fitness is not, it's not like a job. It's a lifestyle. Okay. That's number one. That's why you shouldn't take a break. Like it's almost like once adversity is thrown in your face, you're taking a pause and everything to take out the fire. Come on, man. You need to learn how to incorporate it and charge adversity head on. Okay. Also, you don't want to make excuses or justify your actions on why you cannot meal prep. Okay. Because this is something that I hate hearing all the time is when people just make excuses and try to justify their stuff. You know, I hate that shit because it just sounds like a little kid crying all the time. I'm just like, yo, like then thinking about all the negatives of what you can't do. How about you take your mindset and start thinking about what you can do? Okay. Because when you tell yourself you can't do anything, that means you probably do the same with everything else in your life. Okay. Because we're just talking about food here, you know. And when I really break it down like that to people, they feel bad because I'm like, we're talking about food here, you know. It's not like I'm trying to tell you build a wall of China. This is food, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're telling me what you can and cannot do with food. Like, come on, just do it. Just figure out a way. How can you do it? Okay, because if there's a will, there's a way. And for me, it's just because I have that military mindset. It's like like some of the models that's instilled in me till this day is like, I don't want to hear what you can't do. Tell me what you can do. If we have to get if there's a mission, we have to make that mission accomplished, no matter what. It doesn't matter what the odds are, we're going to win. If not, I'll die trying. That's it. Like, that is the mindset I got. You know, I'm never going to stop or just give up. I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. Okay. And that really stems from your why. Your why has to be very important. Because if you don't have a reason, if your reasoning isn't big, then your justification, your excuses will take control of your life. All right. And that would justify the outcomes of where you're at. And I always say your justification and your excuses is all the flaws that's happening within your body. Okay. So you have type 2 diabetes, you're overweight. That's all because all the excuses and justifications that you told yourself you cannot do versus trying to figure out the things that you can do. All right. Next thing is going to be pretend that you didn't plan a vacation or traveling event. And when I say pretend, it's like people come up like, oh, this just came up. What do you mean it just came up? I know events that's coming up that I'm going to in August. I know events that's coming up by next week. I know events that's coming up in June, in December. That's how far out I plan. You can't tell me something just came up and then you don't know what's going on, especially a vacation or a business event, right? Like, you know what's coming up. You just make excuses and justifications and don't take action to prepare for these events. Okay. And not trying to make the program work or making the goals that you're trying to achieve to work. Now, what to avoid while traveling? First, this right here. This is a big thing. Foods that are calorically dense, like soda, fried food, snacks. All right. Especially the sodas and the snacks. All right. These are big ones here. Because guess what? When you're on the airplane and that little snack cart comes, right? Don't get the soda, all right? Get like a coffee, a tea, you know what I mean? Water. If they have a soda, get a calorie-free soda, but don't get the Sprite and the juices and the cocktails. Why? You know, they're all calorically dense, and you're sitting on the plane doing nothing. And guess what? You're not hungry or starving or you just want to drink. You're just bored. That's all it is. Replace that boredom with something healthy, okay? Snacking. Then getting the cookies and the snacks and the junk food in that snack cart, right? Because only thing that's in that snack cart is calorically dense foods and sugar. That's all it is. All right? That's all it is in that snack cart. So again, you want to bring some real food with you, reduce the snacking, or bring some healthier snacks with yourself on your carry-on and with your sodas. Maybe then, like, what I do is I just buy a big bottle of water. Like, once I get past TSA, I go straight to the store and buy like two large bottles of water. And I put one in my backpack, carry one on the plane, and I sip on that. If I do get something from, I like calling the snack cart the roach coach, right? So it's like I call it the roach coach. And if I get anything from the roach coach, it's just coffee. You know what I mean? Coffee or water. Grazing. Try not to graze throughout the day, where you're just eating unconsciously throughout the day, just grabbing snacks, even if you're doing it healthy and things like that. Because when you're doing stuff like that and just eating unconsciously, that can lead to a lot of calories very fast. Okay. Because you're thinking you're eating small things because you're eating little snacks and you're grabbing things as you go throughout the day. But if you're not really tracking and not really being conscious of what you're actually eating, you could easily be overeating. And but in your mind, you feel like you're not. Also, FOMO, fear of missing out, right? FOMO eating. This is a big one too. So when you're traveling and stuff, you let's say you're with like friends, family, maybe business partners. This is a big thing too, where it can make you feel like you have to eat with them, okay, or eat what they're eating. And I've been on many business trips and many vacations. And what I'm going to do is show you what I do. I'm not going to say it here, but I want to show you what I do when it comes to those events. Okay, because sometimes I can eat with them, sometimes I just don't. All right, I'm an adult. I make my decisions. I have to pretend to please anybody when it comes to food. It's just food. All right. And then not planning ahead and being unprepared. All right, like I said before. Now, why it may seem is hard, because like I said before, when you're trying to learn how to count macros and use my Fitness Pal and Chronometer, it's very simple, but in the beginning it might feel like a math test. But it's an easy math test. It's adding and subtracting. That's all it is. It's very simple. But it's almost like a puzzle, because like there's thousands of different types of foods, right? And you're trying to figure out what food combinations can I create to solve the problem, right? So that's the thing. That's why it's a little harder in the beginning, because it's like it is a math test, but it's almost like a puzzle too. And you're trying to figure out how can I make the pieces fit to create the picture. Okay, that's how it feels. But I do help people with this by making macro-friendly meals. Once you learn how to macro-friendly meals, it's like a shortcut to the puzzle, and then it's just a math test after that. So, and the reason nutrition is hard is because I always tell people, imagine nutrition is like a 7-question exam, and it's worth 100 points, right? So if you messed up, let's say for example, for weight loss, if you're not following your target goals to the T, and you're messing up all the time, and this is what happens, because some people feel that they're just eating healthy and that's all they need to do. And I really harp on people with nutrition, because I'm telling them, like, it's more than just eating healthy. It's more than just being vegan or eating a plant-based diet. You have to hit your target goals, right? If you want results. Okay, if you're not seeing it, it's the reason why you're here, right? So it's like, so the thing is, it's like a 7-question test. And now imagine if you messed up day one, you didn't hit your target goals. You were halfway there, but you didn't hit it completely. One day you hit them completely. The other day you didn't. The other day you didn't. Other day you didn't. Other day you hit them. And let's say out of all those days, one or 2 days you overate, 3 days you underate because you try to compensate the days that you overate, and then 2 days you hit your goals. Well, how nutrition works is this. Even if 5 days were perfect, let's say even 5 days were perfect, and each day is worth about 14.29%, out of those 5 days, you're only getting like a 71.43% accomplish rate, right? And the 2 days that you miss, can't be a complete failure, right? This is if it's not a complete fail, like, oh, you just went over just a little bit. But in reality, with most people, it's a big fail. They're really under eating, or they're overeating a lot, which can actually bring these points even lower. So when that happens, you're not seeing results. Or if you do see results with this type of score, it's very slow, right? Because 71% is like a C or a C minus. It's like you're barely getting by. And what happens with slow results, most people don't have patience. That's why we have miracle drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro out, all these diet hacks, fasting, intermittent, all these things out, so people get fast results, because it's hard to learn how to do things right and then be able to stay consistent. So, and people want speed. They want to do the wrong things, but make things right by using drugs. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. And if you just did it right, you'll be surprised that if you did things right off the rip, within a few weeks, you can get to your goal very fast if you just do it consistently. Even if you're someone who's like 300 pounds, if you did things right for one whole year, you can lose over 150 pounds in a year, and you would be at your weight if you did everything perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And that in a year of sacrificing and just following a structure is not hard at all, especially if you have a lot of diseases and things that like that that's going on, and you just make that sacrifice. Like, I'm going to take a 1-year hiatus and focus on me, work on myself, and reverse all these diseases that's going on and be a better me. Like, 1 year will flash around, and then you have the remaining of your life to maintain that and be healthy. You know what I'm saying? With the reversal of all these diseases like diabetes and anything that's health related, diabetes, a high cholesterol, heart disease, things like that. It could be reversed through proper diet and nutrition and exercise. Okay. And you could do that all in a year. Now, what's the best foods to prep for traveling? Well, you can always prep all your meals and bring it to the airport, even your protein shakes. All right. Just so you can't, with your protein powder, well, not really shakes, but your powder. You probably just want to have a shaker cup with you. So I've done this in traveling events before in the past. I would bring all my meals. And when I say all my meals. So let's say I was traveling for a whole week. I would bring a week worth of food with me on my carry-on. And they won't stop you. They'll just let you go. Now, all of them won't be meal prep containers. Maybe just that day would be in the meal prep container. But I'll have primarily high protein foods like tofu, seitan, maybe some vegan jerky, some protein powders, bars, nuts, little things like that. I'll have it in my bag, because when you're traveling, it's easy to find like foods that's high in carbs and fat, but it's very hard to find like lean proteins. So I would definitely have a lot of that in my bag. And then when I get to my destination, I can always go to the grocery store or go to like a restaurant and then get side foods or foods that can fulfill my carb and fat options. And depending on if I'm trying to diet, I can easily find low carb options. Like, you could always find a salad or grilled vegetables or things like that that's low in carbs but nutrient dense there. Or if I'm just maintaining and, it's my high day, whatever the case can be, trying to build muscle, I could easily find like rice, beans, at any type of restaurant. Does that make sense? Now, what's the best foods to prep for traveling? Well, number one, you can always carry a lunchbox with you. I've done that in the past before, but usually now when I'm traveling, I just put it. Like, if I'm traveling locally and I'm going to be out for the whole day, I'll carry this. But if I'm traveling on an airplane, then I'll just put like foods like seitan, tofu, maybe some like, jerky or something like that, vegan jerky, some protein powders, and I'll throw the protein powder inside the Ziploc bags and maybe some protein bars. I'll put all of that in my carry-on. You know what I'm saying? So, or my personal bag, personal luggage, I put out on all with me. And then also once I get to the hotel, I'll buy foods like this as well. So if I'm cutting, I'll get some like pre-made cauliflower rice, maybe get some frozen veggies. I'll buy some throwaway meal prep containers. And this is really optional, because usually if I'm bringing my own containers, then I wouldn't have to buy it. But there's times I would have to buy it because maybe I forgot it, or how I prepped that day or prepped for that trip, I didn't have it with me. Maybe it was like for a short trip or something like that. Whatever the case can be. I remember I bought some of this stuff before, but usually I'm very prepared and I bring my own containers. I'll bring like 1 or 2 containers, and then I'll just wash that in my hotel room. Like, I did that for the Grant Cardone event when I was at the 10X conference in Las Vegas. I didn't want to eat all the foods in Las Vegas because a lot of it's really comfort food. So what I did was I brought like some a lot of seitan. These pictures are pretty old, but I did bring some seitan, some dairy chicken, and protein powder. And then for lunch, they were serving food like rice, some grilled vegetables, salads. So I was able to just build the remaining of my plate at the bar, at the not the bar, but at the like yeah, I guess the hot bar, right? At the hot bar at the event, and then that's it. But there was times that I would, if I landed in a hotel and it wasn't like an event that served food, I would just bring this foods with me, and then I would go to the local grocery store first before I even hit my hotel room, buy some grilled vegetables, maybe buy some microwavable like things like cauliflower rice if I'm cutting, and some veggies, or maybe some if I'm bulking, maybe some rice and beans. And then I just make that in my room, because they usually most places have a hotel. Most hotels have microwaves. So I would just have my foods, I'll throw it inside a meal prep container, throw it all in the microwave, and then boom, I have my meals. And that's it. And there's times I would meal prep all my meals and wouldn't eat nothing at restaurants. I'll just have like maybe soup and salad, and that's it. All right. And then these are different options as well. More mock meats that you could buy. The reason I'm showing this menu is like, if you do go out, like plan ahead, look at the menu. Like if you're going to eat out with with business partners, and you still feel like, hey, that's a little extreme, but I still need to eat. Well, make sure you know where you're going, and then look at some options and look at the menu and see like what food options can you have that is healthy, versus just going there and then just picking whatever you see on the menu. Plan ahead so you could maybe you could eat before you go, and then eat something that's very light at the restaurant, because I've done that too. I will get like a salad, or maybe I'll just eat the protein here, and knowing if I'm going to a particular restaurant, they're not going to have high protein options or any type of protein options. Maybe like if it's an Italian restaurant and they just have pasta, then I would just have protein all throughout the day, maybe some vegetables as well. And then so I could get my nutrients and fiber. And then I'll go to the Italian restaurant and just get some pasta. Does that make sense? And then definitely water. Lots of water. I usually buy like even bigger bottles of water. They're more like half a gallons. I will buy a couple of half a gallons when I'm traveling, keep them in my room, and then carry 1 or 2 bottles. Well, technically, I would carry 1 bottle with me when I'm traveling, because I don't like to have a lot of stuff on me when I'm walking around and stuff like that. And then if I run out, I either buy more water while I'm out, or just go back to my hotel room, grab the second bottle, and then do that. Okay. And then hacks to be successful. And I'm going to wrap this up and go straight into Q&A, but I'm going to go through this pretty fast. But when traveling or on vacation, aim for high protein foods and low carb foods. Okay. You really want to do that, because again, this is what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to dine, that you want to keep your carbs available. And this is really for people who's trying to lose body fat or even trying to build muscle. So your macros are clean and you're not overeating. This is a good hack to do. Try your best to keep enough carbs and fat open, so when you dine out with your friends, family, and coworkers, you can eat with them. Like I said, don't aim for perfection. It's about trying your best. So there's going to be days, and sometimes it happens. Like you might go a little over. If you're tracking your stuff and you go a little over, don't beat yourself up. It's about doing your best. Because even with my clients, when they go out and they go a little over, they're a little unhappy. They're like, yeah, I know you said this and that, but like I still went over. But I tried. But I was telling like, what would happen if you weren't tracking? How would that look like? And they'd be like, oh man, I would have had the cake. I would have had the drinks. I would have, stayed up late. And what did you learn this time? Well, I didn't stay up late and I ate right. Even though I went over, I still ate the best way I could. I didn't have the desserts. They made better choices, which was good. And then remember, you are trying to make a lifestyle change. And so you can't take breaks on your life. Okay. If you're trying to make a lifestyle change in your life, you can't take breaks because adversity comes in your way. And then when dining out, estimate the food when you're eating or tracking it. Okay. So like, I'm not a freak. There's people out there that bust out a food scale at a dining table full of people and start measuring. Like, you don't have to do all of that. And I have a great body and I don't even do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do all that stuff. I think it's kind of ridiculous and silly. It's a little obsessive. It's like you just have to estimate. You could look at the food. If you've been measuring the food at home for 1,000 times, you're telling me that you can't just look at it and figure that out by just estimating it. And that's why I try to teach my clients. Is like, the reason you want to measure out your foods is so you have a good mind's eye when you look at food, and you could do a good estimation. And what I usually do is when I estimate, especially if I'm eating out, I just estimate. I overestimate. So I always think it's a little bit more than what I figure what it is, and that usually keeps me good. If I always think a little bit more, then it's better. And then when I'm tracking it, I kind of do that once I'm done. Like, I won't do that at the dinner table, but once I'm like, let's say I walk outside just to chill, walk around, I'll probably do it then. Or if I'm taking an Uber back from the restaurant, I'll bust out my MyFitnessPal, plug everything in that I ate. Or if I planned ahead and know what restaurant I'm going to and know what I'm going to order, I'll go ahead and put it in right then and there. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes some of the menus like will have all the ingredients all written down, so you can kind of like plug everything in there. And sometimes they tell you the calories, so you could kind of like build it and plug it into MyFitnessPal, and then make sure the calories fit to the calories that they show. And sometimes certain restaurants, you could just type in the restaurant and the plate that you're getting, and it's there. Like, for example, like at Cheesecake Factory, they have the vegan salad. You could just type in cheesecake vegan salad. Boom, it's right then and there. It's like you don't have to do it. You have to do nothing. You just have to type in Cheesecake Factory vegan salad, and it's right there. So sometimes it's already in there, already counted and ready to go. And the benefits of trying these hacks is that you're going to get faster results. It's going to create better lifestyle habits. You're going to create discipline and a better understanding of portion control and consuming healthier foods. You start enjoying healthier foods and craving it more than junk foods, because the reason you're going to crave it more is because of the results. And you're going to like how you feel. You're going to look how you look. So that's some of the benefits of it. That's why when people say like you don't miss junk food, you don't miss that, I'm like, I don't miss a lot of things, because I enjoy how I look and feel all the time. And I know what it takes and what's required to do so. And then you minimize weight regain, continue to lose weight, or stay on the path of achieving your health and wellness goals. And people will see how dedicated you are when it comes to your health and be more motivated by you, like, because you're setting up a bar. And a lot of people are actually impressed by people who are fit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to show you some results of people that had busy lifestyles, and, they said that they don't have a lot of time, but when they joined my program, we made time and made it happen. So, like, for example, this is Erin Kate. She lost about 97 pounds in 13 months. After that, she's been in my program for a long time, but she lost over 97 pounds. We have this isn't Erin Kate, but this is David. David M. David, it's David. I know his first name. I forgot his last name. But this is David, actually. This is wrong. But he lost about 20 pounds in 8 weeks and gained about 9 pounds in 5 to 6 months. All right. And he has a very busy lifestyle. He's an engineer. Why have all this Erin Kate here? All right. So it's all messed up. But this is Chase Allen. And he was able to lose about 62 pounds in 6 months. All right. So, that's pretty much it. We could go into Q&A, but if there's no more questions, someone asked, we have one question that says, one question is vegetarian a good diet? Yeah, it's a good diet if you know what you're doing, for sure. It's definitely a great diet to follow. Let's see if there's any other questions. Diva PS says, currently grabbing a bottle of water before I jump in bed. Hey, from the UK, no doubt. All right. So I guess no questions, because it was just a class. A lot of people were just watching it and stuff like that. So just wanted to share this. But again, I could do more things like this, like the classes, or if you like just me doing the Q&A, just let me know. But I'm going to try testing out some of the classes on these lives and see how y'all like it. If you want me to do more, But with that said, I'll go ahead and let y'all go. Have a great night. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.